90-Day Fiancé has seen its fair share of unconventional relationships, but Season 11 introduced a first for the franchise, a Throuple. Meet Matt and Amani Jlassi from San Diego and Haney Aguirre, who lives just across the border in Tijuana. After 10 years together, Matt and Amani decided to spice things up by inviting any whom they met on vacation in Mexico into their relationship. Now, all three are navigating the tricky waters of a polyamorous relationship under the spotlight, and it's becoming increasingly clear that the biggest hurdle might not be geography, but Amani herself. Let's break it down. At first glance, Matt, Amani, and Annie seem like three consenting adults who are just trying to make love work in a less traditional way. But the cracks started showing early on that very same vacation, in fact. One night, Amani went to bed, and Matt and Annie got intimate without her. They didn't think it was a big deal, it was a romantic trip, and they were all together, right? Wrong. Amani was furious. She hadn't given her permission, and that, to her, mattered a lot. It was the first red flag. Why hadn't they discussed boundaries before diving in? What surprised everyone, including Amani, was just how jealous she became. For someone who prides herself on being open-minded and progressive about relationships, Amani didn't seem emotionally prepared for the reality of sharing her partner. And here's where my theory comes in. Amani isn't just jealous, she's competitive. Consider this. Amani is the breadwinner. Matt stays home with the kids. That power dynamic alone could breed resentment or insecurity. But Amani's reaction to Matt and Annie's growing closeness felt more personal, like she needed to win Annie's affection more than Matt did. When Annie kissed Matt first and called him her boyfriend, Amani took it as a slight. Not because of what it meant romantically, but because she felt sidelined. Then came the winery meltdown. When Annie admitted she hadn't told her family about the Throuple, Amani exploded and stormed out, clearly hurt. But when Annie later told Amani that she loved her more than she loved Matt, Amani looked relieved, maybe even a little triumphant. That should have been a sweet moment. Instead, it exposed something darker. Amani wasn't looking for balance, she was looking to come out on top. Strangely enough, even after Annie declared her stronger feelings for Amani, Amani sighed and said, "That's kind of the problem." Wait, what? If she's jealous of Matt and Annie's connection, why would more affection from Annie be a problem? Because for Amani, this isn't just about love, it's about control. She doesn't want equality. She wants to be the center of gravity in the relationship. Then there's the way she handled telling Matt about what Annie said. Amani waited a few days, then finally told him, but with a twist. She made it sound like Annie was only in the relationship for her, downplaying Annie's feelings for Matt. In truth, Annie said she cared more for Amani, not that she didn't care at all about Matt. That subtle shift in language seemed intentional, like Amani wanted Matt to feel the sting of insecurity she'd been grappling with. And that's the core issue here. Throuples only work when all three people are emotionally honest and equally invested. There's no room for jealousy, manipulation, or point scoring. But Amani seems more focused on winning than building something sustainable. She wants to be Matt's favorite. She wants to be Annie's favorite. And if she's not, she starts blowing things up. If this relationship has a shot, Amani will need to stop keeping score and start addressing the real emotional issues at play, namely her competitiveness with Matt and her need for control. Otherwise, this Throuple might be headed for a very dramatic breakup.